I'm sure most of you have noticed that Claude desktop app now has the chat and cowork and code tabs. Well, I've been using Cowork for a while now, and I want to share with you a few of the tips that I've found super helpful to get started with Claude Cowork. All right, so first thing I want to cover is what is the difference between Claude Chat and Claude Cowork? So think of chat as the place where you do all of your thinking. It is the brainstorming, the ideation. It's the place where ideas begin to take shape and to begin to take form, but they haven't quite landed just yet. Once you've got your idea in a more solid state, maybe it has a name, maybe you have some files that you want to start creating, then you shift over to Cowork, and this is where the files get made, stuff starts happening, and you begin to make this project become a reality. Okay, so I want to help you get started with a few helpful tips on how to set up your Claude Cowork. So by default, when you start working, these files that you're creating are just kind of saved in a random folder. So what you want to do is you want to first be able to select where you want these files saved on your computer. And what I would recommend is to create one folder specifically for all of your Claude Cowork stuff. And then within that have subfolders. So maybe you have a folder for personal stuff and for work stuff and for creative stuff. And then inside those, you can have your separate projects for each of those. So that's how I've set up mine. Let me show you what it looks like at first if you don't set this up. So I have here, it's just a big folder with a bunch of different things that aren't related, and it's a crazy mess. So instead, if you set up your project something like this, if you Google Johnny Decimal System, you'll get this kind of 00 to 09 kind of folder structure. It's kind of fun. And so I've set up some of my projects like this. You can go into one of these and then you can see some of the different artifacts and projects that I've been tinkering with here. So I would recommend setting up like one root folder, then giving it some area type folders and subfolders after that, and then you should be off to the races. Okay, so now that you have some folder structure in place, what you can do when you're about to start a chat is to click on this, scroll down to choose a different folder, and there you can select your folder that you want to start working in. Or a faster way to do this is to not use this structure, but to use projects. So projects is kind of like a saved destination. It's like you're favoriting those specific folders. So I've added a few projects here already for some of those things, and it kind of works like chat projects do, where that saves the memory and updates memory as it goes along. It keeps all of your project chats in the same place, so I don't have to go through all of this recent list searching for all the things related to this project. And then it could have scheduled tasks or specific instructions for this project specifically. So that's what I would recommend. After you set up your project folders in Finder, then you can come in here and add projects so that every time you work on that project, you can stay organized and keep your memory in one place. And it automatically adds what folder you're working in right here within the project. All right, so I have two more advanced tips for you. These are totally optional, not necessary, but it adds a little bit more context, a little bit more flexibility, and extra information whenever you begin to work on your project in Cowork. And I've found that helpful to have that extra context. So the first thing you can do is go up to your Claude settings in general and add something like this. Summarize your progress as you go. Update a progress.md file with your leading assumptions, world facts, conversation timeline, progression, and possible next steps. What this does is it kind of logs your conversation in progress to an actual file so that you can reference that file in other chats or just keep a general log of what you've done in the past. I find that really helpful to have that just automatically going on in the background for me. The second tip is over in the code section. So after you've set up your project and your Finder folders, you can go into here and select one of your folders. So if I wanted to pick this one again, I would go here. I'll select that folder, and then all you have to do is run one command, and it's just /init. And what this does is it creates a Claude.md file for you. And then every time you use a project, it will come up with your Claude.md file as extra context for what this is. So I just ran this quick section about what is this project about, and you can see here that I immediately loaded my Claude.md file first thing and then shared with me what that was. If you don't have that Claude.md file and you ask what it's about, it's not gonna do a whole lot for you. So I found that this one simple step adds a lot more speed to getting started on your Cowork journey. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you found it useful, and as always, learn fast, build right, gain traction. We'll see you in the next one.